Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Fairy Oracle. My name is Susie. Before I get started on today's reading, I wanted to ask you for a favor. Would you please like my videos, subscribe, and click notifications for future uploads? Because in order for me to be able to live stream and engage with all of you, I need more subscribers. And so when you come to my channel, you will get messages for the week, for the day, for what you are going through, and universal messages, general messages for the planet and globally. So it's really important to me to tell you this, because if I don't ask, nothing will happen. So let's get started first on something exciting. I went upstairs to my card decks that I've acquired over the last 15 years, and I found a deck that I created. Now, this deck is the last deck that I have, and it is from the first ream, which was dark. And so I asked the printing company to do another ream, and I had the girl that created my decks lighten all the cards so that they would be easier to read. However, there are some people that love the first ream. Since this is my last card deck, I am wondering if some of you out there might enjoy this deck. I'm willing to gift it. And in order to gift it, I need people to comment below about my videos, ask me questions, and then I can do a random generation for whomever would like this card deck to be able to read it. It will be signed and it will be dated. I'm going to open it up so you can see. The deck is still in the cellophane. It has never been used. It has never been opened. And it is called Light Fragments Oracle Cards. Now, I am creating another one of these decks, but I am changing some things and I'm making them smaller. I'm also creating another deck of light codes and symbols that I've received. So I don't know when that's going to happen. I'm waiting for somebody to say, hey, I can print these for you, and at a relatively reasonable amount of money, because these were very expensive. And that was why I only ordered in three separate orders, about 350 decks. And that cost me thousands of dollars. So, but this deck I'm willing to gift, but I need more people to subscribe to my channel, and I need more people to engage in the comment section. So that's that. Let's get moving on to today. Now, I went back in some of my writings, and I went back to 2 dates. One date was January 4th, 2011. And I'm not going to read it all because there's some personal things in this journaling. But there were 2 things that I asked for that have come to pass since 2011. One of the things that came to pass was that my husband gave up his business, which was very difficult, and started working for a company doing what he knows how to do best. That came to pass. And the other thing that came to pass was that we really needed some good health insurance. And so we acquired that with his leaving his business. 2011 was when I wrote these requests down in this book. Now, on January 11th, 2011, at 2:50 a.m. in the morning, I got a message, and it's called Living for Eternity. The Golden Arrow. The Golden Arrow was an experience that I had in 2009. And when I tell my story on the YouTube channel, you all will know what the Golden Arrow means. The Golden Arrow was given to me while I was driving. And the situation actually came down into my left side vision while I was driving. So I could see it peripherally while I had my eyes on the road. And there's a deep, deep message about the Golden Arrow. And it's not just important to me. It's important to every single person on this planet. It is a message of doing no harm. It is a message of staying clear in the conscious mind, not the subconscious mind. And as you awaken, and as your conscious mind, subconscious mind awakens to your conscious mind, things will happen and they will be very uncomfortable. And because as above, so below, as it in the universe, in the heavens, as on earth, there's a merging of the two. And so with that merging, it's like having a wound that's very deep and you need to go to the hospital to get stitches, right? The wound, the flesh has been cut open and it's bleeding and it's painful. And so you need to go and have that stitched up so that it can heal. It leaves a scar, but everything after that is still in working order, but it's different. The flesh looks different. Your environment looks different. You've had that experience, but you're ready to move on. And you're ready to be aware that you don't want that to happen to you again. So you're a little cautious, but you're also open to healing. Now, the message at 2:50 a.m. on January 11th, 2011, see, you can see it right here. Let me put it up here. Okay? I've had this book for a while. Keep your feet moving. You are almost there. There is a saying that says just about when we are about to abandon our mission, our cause, our life, because there are people out there that just want to abandon their life. It's so close to fulfillment. And they just have to go that extra mile. And that's what the message I received in the morning. Now, sometimes I wake up and I get these messages. And by the grace of God, I remember them in the morning. Sometimes I can't go to sleep. And when everything is quiet in the dark, I get these messages. Now, jump ahead a week. On January 17th, 2011, I was staring out my window and a black crow, we have a family of crows that live here, and a black crow came down close to where I was sitting and gave me a message. And the message was the word anger. Because a lot of times in the healing process, the anger that we've experienced through life comes to the surface. It brims. And the reason it comes to the surface is so that we can deal with it, right? If it stays down here, we're going to continue to be angry, but it needs to come up here. It needs to come up here so we can figure out why. Why am I angry? How long have I been angry? So this crow said to me, take out the R, which is the root of anger, and replace it with L. L for love, right? Put L in the root. Take the R out. Put L for love in the root. The beginning of love. So replace anger with love. And you get another word. And that word is angel. Now, the interesting part of this message, because I reread it this morning, I haven't picked this up in years, since 2011, I happen to be going through some of my documents. The interesting part is that there are no coincidences. And I picked that up this morning because we, in this 3D planet we live on, is so full of anger. And it begins with us as individuals. Take the R out. This has to be a conscious act. Now, I can be telling this to you, and you can go, yeah, and you can go on your merry way. But unless you internalize the message, unless you say to yourself, why am I so angry? Why am I filled with anger? And you begin the healing process consciously, you will not leave that part of your life behind. So, getting back to what I was saying, globally, there's so much anger. There's so much anger in little towns. There's so much anger on our planet, period. And we need to eliminate that dense energy. And eliminating that starts first with us. Compelled to ask you to consciously figure out why you're so angry. And I'm going to tell you what my guess is. My guess is that it came from many, many years ago when you were a small child, perhaps when you were going through school, perhaps it was something when you were a teenager, your parents divorced and they used you as a pawn, and that made you angry. It could be that simple. It could be being bullied throughout life. It could be being abused by your parents. It could be you became ill. And when you became ill and made your way through it, you built up all this resentment, which turned to anger. It could be a lot of things. But now is the time to replace the R in anger with the letter L for love and become an earth angel. an earth angel that is conscious of what is going to happen to our planet if we do not do this. It's an urgent message. And it isn't by chance that I've come on to YouTube at this point in time. I've been wanting to do this for years. I've been getting these messages for years. I started getting messages when my children were babies. I have a notebook full of messages. Don't ask me where it is. I've misplaced it. I put it in a safe place. I imagine when I start cleaning out my basement, I'm going to find it. And when I do, I will be doing a whole series on reading those messages. And they all start off with my child. Because God, source of all living things, knows that you are their child. Your parents, your true parents, are ahead of your earthly parents. And those parents know more than your earthly parents. And it's up to you to listen to that. Now, if you're getting weird messages about harming others and harming yourself, get help. Get help. Use your throat chakra and get help. In the meantime, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And I have a card deck that I'm going to pull a card for today. I have not had a block of time. I'm still working. I have not had a block of time where I can actually do a paint scrying, which I'm going to do. The paint scrying is going to be, we're going to ask what's coming down the pike for this planet. Now, I mentioned in my previous video about the year 2026, but I want a more recent message. And the paint scrying usually delivers some really great messages as far as that goes. And you all will be able to see it and view it as it happens, okay, in the paint scrying. And we will read it together. So this deck is an oracle deck. I haven't used it very often, which is why I decided to take it out. I'm going to fan the cards out, and I'm going to pull because they haven't been used, so they're hard to shuffle. And I'm just going to pull a card out to validate the message that I just gave you guys from my conscious awareness, okay? And I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for you. I want to help you. I really, really want to help you. I didn't get to this place in my life for any other reason. And I'm trying to save you a lot of pain. Yes, there will be pain, but it doesn't have to be to the extent of the pain that I had. And when I share my story, which is probably going to be about 2 hours in parts, you'll understand. But this is the time for me to be able to do this for you. I'm giving myself to you out of love and affection, because I know. And here it is. The card that is the validation of everything that I just said. Vision Quest. If you notice in the center, we've got the activation of the heart chakra. We've got the spiral in the root chakra. The activation, taking the R out of anger, getting unstuck, and replacing it with love. The vision quest. You are on a journey. Do not abandon that journey. I'm going to repeat what I said in my last video. Do not abandon the journey. Because the golden arrow needs to enter you, do its work, and come out the other side. Too often the golden arrow comes in, right? And it stays there. And when it stays there, it gets stuck. It can't do its job. But if you allow that golden arrow to come in and keep moving through you and out the other side, you will be transformed. Your subconscious will become conscious. And when you become conscious, everything changes. No, your environment may stay the same. Your family is going to stay the same. You may still have the same job, but everything about you will change. And there are going to be people that don't like it, and let them fall away. Okay? There are going to be situations that you always put up with that you are no longer going to put up with anymore. There are going to be times when you said yes to things because that's what everybody does. Especially if you're the kind of person that always says yes. Or we can count on Susie. Or we can count on Debbie. We can count on John. But Susie, Debbie, John, Kathy, Ned. Inside they're saying, I don't want to do this. And then you hear, whoa, we can't seem to find anybody else and nobody wants to step up to the plate. And you are used to doing that. But you don't need to do that anymore. You can step into your own personal power and you can say, I'm not doing that anymore. If somebody comes to you with a request and you're busy, you will consciously be aware of the fact that certain things come first. They can find somebody else. It's not the end of the world. You don't need to make it the end of the world. And by the way, just because traditional social structure happened or happens the way it does not mean you have to adhere to it. Sometimes you're put in a bubble for protection. You don't even know you're in a bubble. Sometimes you are put in a situation, right, where you have to handle that stuff first. You let all that other people out there do the belly aching, do the complaining. You let them do it. You allow it. Don't even bother interfering with it. Don't even bother giving it any credence, because you're being put in that bubble of protection for a reason. And we have social media, right? Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. There's so many of them now that we're on there, and we've got to know. We've got to know what this one says. We've got to know what that one says. We've got to hear what this one. We've got to argue the point. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't need to argue with anybody. And if somebody asks you a question and it makes you not feel right, simply say, I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that. Because the point here is to not engage in dense energies or in things that are really nobody else's business. How about that one? It's nobody else's business. Now, if you have a family member and you know they love you and you know they're concerned, right? That's different. But when we're talking hundreds and thousands of people, it's none of their business. It's that simple. So let me do a little quick read, because these cards are new. I can read them. And here we have the sun in the background. So this could be fire energy, Sagittarius, Leo. I'm not real good on astrology. Let me see. Aries, is Aries fire? I think Aries is fire. It could be this energy, right? Or you could have that energy rising in your astrological chart. And interestingly enough, this morning I got a coffee scry of the sun and the solar flares. So we can even take that to another level, which means that stuff is happening for you. Stuff is happening for you. And if you abandon that now, it's not going to happen, and you will be protected. We've got the number 60. You could be 60 years old. 6 plus 0 is 6. The number 6 could mean something for you. If we take 6 and divide it by 2, we get 3. So let me do a quick reading on this. It's going to take me a minute to find it. But the vision quest, what it means to me is moving from your subconscious into conscious awareness. And by the way, that's a choice. Okay? Sometimes by spiritual osmosis. If you're a strong-willed person, I'm a strong-willed person. If you're a strong-willed person, sometimes you have to be hit by a lightning bolt. And because you have ignored things in your life, I mean, they're always trying to get us to listen, right? That's why I'm here. If you've ignored that and you keep on kicking your feet against the rocks out of the way on your journey, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Chances are you are moving from your subconscious into your conscious very, very painfully. Everything is a hardship. You look at life like it's happening to you, but not for you. Something happens, you don't want to be grateful for that because it's a pain in the butt. You don't want to do it. Stubborn. Very stubborn, very strong-willed, very a block to listening. It's just a choice. That's all it is. Go somewhere remote. Put your arms up in the air and say, I'm ready. I'm listening. No more games. I promise I will hear you. I promise. I'm so tired of this struggle. And I need help. Let me see. The Vision Quest. I'm not going to read it all. I'm only going to read a little bit of it. And in the Vision Quest, you face your fear. You embrace your mortality. And then meet face to face with spirit. When we feel stagnant, a vision quest brings our lives into perspective. We realize our flaws. We realize we're stubborn, we're strong-willed. We realize our potential and the opportunities that life is offering us. Subconscious to the conscious. We remain on a vision quest until we find the key to open a new door or write a new chapter in our lives. Find clarity by spending time alone in nature. If you live in the country, make sure you spend time outside in contemplation. Get off the couch. Move your feet. Spirit has been trying to contact you, but has received no answer. You are too busy with your life. There is too much noise inside of your head. Do not miss the call again. Was I correct in reading this? Was my message previously correct? Yes, it was. Because being in alignment has nothing to do with everybody else. And I will get into that when I explain my journey, what got me here. Listening to everybody else causes more confusion. Okay? If you jump, or somebody might say something to you, and you're getting a totally different message, and they are like, this is what's happening. This is what's going to happen. Or they spend all of their time in worldly events and affairs. That is very binding. It's extremely binding. I'll tell you what happens. We have the Crown Chakra here. We have our third eye, and we have our regular eyes. And there are other chakras. When you receive messages through your crown chakra and you see with your third eye, it may be entirely different than what you're seeing on the tell me vision. And so if you're spending too much time there, you cannot get what you're supposed to be getting here. And there sometimes is a conflict. It's very easy to become involved with that because we live here. But I'm asking you to move out of that. Do your daily activities, but be consciously aware. So I'm sending you all blessings today. I love you from the depths of my being. And I want you to have your greatest and best life possible here while it lasts. Because I love you. I'm not just saying it. And I think I've felt this way my whole life, but I allowed other stuff to get in the way. Actually, I know I felt this way. So, be well, be blessed, be on your journey. Take the R out of anger and replace it with L, angel. Become an earth angel. You will not be sorry. Blessings. I love you. Till next time. Bye-bye.